Well done on pulling out your mat today. Thanks for joining me. I got an apt metaphor this week in the form of my car windshield. I am one who waits for it to rain for my car to be washed. Well, the problem is when it doesn't rain and the dirt builds up and builds up. It was getting harder and harder to see out of my windshield, especially when the sun was setting right in front of me. And then we had young family members earning money this summer come and wash our cars. And I doubled down. I went out there. I took the Rain-X, did all that on the outside. I cleaned the inside of my windshield. And it is like I'm in a new world. And I thought about how much power I had for the past 2+ months to do something about that, to clear my vision. And I didn't. I was just allowing things to be as they were naturally. And I think about the power we have to change our own perception. We cannot change what happens to us, but we can change how we see it, how we choose to deal with it. It's the hardest thing in the world. I'm not saying it's easy, but I was thankful for the reminder that perception is a choice. And that's what I'm going to be working on this week. So today, as we flow, consider if there is something in your life in which you need to shift your perception, your perspective. You need to clear the glass, look at something in a new way. You're not changing where you're looking, but you're changing how you're looking. And above all, as usual, I hope you gain mental clarity from this practice and that calm strength. Let's begin in child's pose to shut out the world around us. Bring all our thoughts onto the mat. Check in with the breath. And begin to deepen it. Settle into the mat. Begin to bring movement into your body in little ways. You could rock the head right and left. You can press up onto the forearms. Take about 5 or 6 breath cycles to get up to hands and knees. Dropping side to side, front to back, whatever you feel you need. And then taking the hands actually a little bit in front of the shoulders. Let's go back and forth. We're going to round the back like we do in cat, chin to chest. And then begin to shift your weight forward, drop your tailbone, lift your heart, an up dog on the knees. So we don't want to be crunching down in the shoulders. We want to be actively pushing into the earth. Keeping the shoulders down, the heart lifted, the throat open, and also not letting the belly drop too much. Let there be power in the core. Exhale, cat. It might even come all the way to a child's pose. And then inhale, come back to up dog on your knees. Move back and forth a few times. Option to close your eyes. The next time you round your back, go ahead and curl your toes under so that you can come to down dog, straightening the legs or almost straightening them. Walking out your down dog, finding your perfect distance, hands to feet today. And then inhale, lift up the right leg. Exhale, step the right foot down. It might be to the outside middle of your mat. It might be closer to your wrist. But then set some weight into that foot, drop your hips, lift your heart. Similar feeling as to what we just did. And we're going to step directly back to down dog. Left foot steps mid-mat or close to the left wrist. Drop the hips, look up. So shift back and forth. Slowly dropping the hips a little lower each time, or stepping the foot a little further forward. So you're building strength both in the upper body and flexibility in the hips, building up that warmth. If you want to, as you step the foot forward, you could add a tricep push-up for even more upper body strengthening. Last one, meet up in down dog. And then step the feet up outside the hands. Come into a forward fold with wide legs, just feet to the edges of your mat. Parallel. Soften the knees a little bit, a lot. Add that sway in the hips, in the neck. Looking at the world upside down, thinking about that shift in perspective. And then while you're folded forward, point the toes out. Drop the hips and lift your heart. Lift the arms as well. So you're in a yogi squat. You might be really low, or you might be lifted like I am. And then slowly rise up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Drop the hips. Inhale, reach out and up. Repeating this motion. Keeping the spine long. And again, you have the opportunity to drop a little lower each time. The next time you stand up, keep your arms lifted. Make your feet parallel once again. Take your left hand to your hip. Reach the right arm up and over. And really push into the ground with that right foot in particular. Notice it. Inhale through center. Exhale, right hand to hip. Left arm reaches up and over. Actively pushing down, especially with the left foot. Inhale, face forward. Exhale, open twist to the right. And then take your right hand to your right hip and reach the left arm up and over behind you. So you're twisting and leaning. Maybe pushing the hips forward a little bit in a back bend. Inhale, center, arms high. Exhale, open twist to the left. And then the left hand comes to the back of the left hip. That's where you notice if you opened it up or not. You're trying to push it forward as you reach the right arm high and over behind you. Squeeze your glutes. And then inhale, reach high, face front. Exhale, interlace the hands. Straighten the arms, open the heart. And then bend the knees deeply as you fold forward with the hands clasped if possible. If it's easy to interlace your fingers, strive to press your palms together. Couple of breath cycles here. Again, adding any movement that might be helpful. Twisting the torso, bending one knee at a time or both. And then exhale, release the hands down. Walk the feet about hip width distance. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant the hands. Step back to high plank. Taking any kind of chaturanga or flow of your choice. You could hover the body or come down to the belly. You could take it to cobra on the belly or up dog. Remembering we don't want to be slouching here in up dog. We're using the core and the arms to lift the crown of the head high. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, step the feet up and outside the hands. Toes out this time immediately, so we drop the hips. Rise up to Malasana. Stand tall. And take a few breath cycles. 3, let's do 3. Exhale down. Inhale, rise. Can you feel weight in the outer edges of your feet? Last time to drop low. While you're low, maybe you shouldn't be quite so low because we're going to try and lift up the heels coming onto the toes. And then can you straighten the legs with your heels lifted? Exhale, heels come down. Make your feet parallel. Walk them a little closer. Again, hip width distance. Inhale, reach out and up. Exhale, left hand to hip. Right arm reaches up and over, pushing your hips to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale, right hand to hip, left arm up and over. Inhale, stand tall. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant the hands and make your way to down dog. Stepping back or flowing through. Check in with your breath. Feel that navel draw in, squeezing the abdominals. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, bend and hover the knees over the ground. Drive all your hips back to your heels. So it's a hovering child's pose. And then straighten the legs again. Walk your hands closer in so that you can come to a hovering tabletop as you bend your knees. And a couple options here. Drop the knees to the left and hips to the right. So you're swaying back and forth and then knees to the right, hips to the left. You want to keep a micro bend in the elbows. And you really feel when you drop those hips and then lift them, the obliques working. That's option one. Option two would be as the knees go to the left, that bottom leg, the right leg extends out and the left hand reaches up. Coming back through center, knees to the right, left leg extends, right arm reaches high. So you're either knees side to side, or you're extending that bottom leg out each time. Building strength and building heat, preparing for deeper stretch. One more each side. Down dog is your release. Child's pose if that serves you better. Check in with your breath. Inhale, right leg lifts. Keep that leg high as you bend your knee. Feel your heel draw as close as it can to your glute. Lift up your hip, your knee even higher. And notice if you stuck out your rib cage at the bottom, see if you can connect ribs to abdominals. That might alternately feel like tucking your tailbone. And then step the right foot all the way to the top. Set the left knee down and begin to straighten the right leg, coming into a half split. I always like to flex and point my toe here just to sense the stretch in slightly different ways, make it more dynamic. Try to keep your hips in line. Do you need to pull that left hip or right hip back a little bit? And then find stillness there. Plant your left hand, reach your right arm high, rotating your torso, feeling length in your spine. Rotate your wrist. You could even take that right hand behind the lower back, maybe even grabbing onto the front of the left thigh. Deep twist in the spine while you're stretching the hamstring, while you're gazing up. And exhale, release. Take the right hand down, begin to bend into your right knee once more. Curl the left toes under, straighten the back leg. Take a few taps, left knee down, and then straighten the leg. And then come to stillness with that knee lifted. Really push into the mat equally with that right foot and the left toes, and then rise up to crescent. adjusting your feet as you need to. Exhale, open twist to the right. Another twist on the torso. Helps if you lean forward a little bit. You could take your left hand to the front knee or hands to your heart as you hook the elbow. Should feel similar as to the twist we just did. And then unwind. Take your hands down to the ground or to blocks. Begin to straighten the front leg. Step the left foot up so it can flatten onto the ground. Pyramid pose. So repeating a hamstring stretch on the right side. And if you feel pretty warm after that half split, you want to take it deeper, you can lift up your right toes. Try to actively push into your mat with both feet. Feel the core active. Release and relax in the jaw, the neck, the shoulders. Set the right toes down if you lifted them. Walk your hands forward. Begin to lift the left leg up behind you just to an L shape. So the heel is lifting, your pinky toe is facing the ground. Exhale, set the left foot down next to the right. Bend the knees, drop your tailbone. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, open twist to the right. Another twist to the right. Repeating this. Again, you could go deeper, left hand to the knees, or hands to your heart, hooking the elbow. And finally, if you want a balance, you could take your hands to the mat, creating a shelf for your right thigh, elbow to hip and elbow to knee. Coming into side crow. And I have the perspective of the grass that I'm about to fall into. Slowly come out and come to a standing forward fold. Shake anything out you need to. Take a half lift. Exhale, fold in. Plant the hands. Make your way back to down dog. Find that strength and stillness in the down dog. If you notice your arms are next to your ears, drop those shoulders down your back. You could bend the elbows, rotate them underneath you to help that happen. With the strong core engaged, to lift your left leg high. Keeping it high, bend your knee, pulling your heel toward your glute. And then notice if your rib cage stuck out, begin to draw that back in. It feels like a really tight squeeze of the abdominals. And then step the left foot all the way to the top. Set the back knee down. Straighten the left leg for that half split. Keeping the hips in line. Choosing to flex or point the left foot. Option to move back and forth. As with any forward motion, with the torso here, you can either round over or you can lean with a flat back. Find stillness in your half split. Plant your right hand. Lift your left arm up. Feel length in your spine. Rotate the left wrist. Option to even wrap it around behind you. Maybe even grabbing onto the front of the right leg. And exhale. Plant the left hand down. Begin to bend into your left knee. Curl the right toes under. Straighten the right leg. And once more, take those little dips. See if you can tap the knee down and straighten the leg. Moving the back leg and trying to keep the left leg stationary. And finally, keep the knee lifted. Find your stance with the feet that will support you in crescent, and then lift up. Exhale, twist to the left. Reach the arms long. Lean forward so you can actively straighten the right leg. Option 2, take right hand to knee, or to take both hands to your heart, hooking the right elbow on the outside of the left knee. Long, strong spine, gazing upward over that left shoulder. Unwind. Plant the hands in front of you a little bit so you can shift your weight into the left foot. Reach the right leg up. L-shaped legs. Right pinky toe facing down. Core engaged. And exhale, set the right foot down next to the left. Bend the knees deeply. Come up to chair. Weight more in the heels. Shoulders drawing down the back. One more twist. Exhale, open up to the left. Take your right hand to your knee. Deepen your twist. Or hands to your heart. Hooking the elbow and then growing the spine again. Turning your gaze over the left shoulder if it doesn't hurt your neck. Option 2, come to that balance. Hands to the earth. Shelf for the legs, for the left leg really, as you come to side crow. And then wherever you are, making your way into a forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant the hands and make your way to down dog. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, walk the feet up to the hands. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, stand up, reaching out and up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Inhale, step the feet open, facing the right side of your mat. And let's have the feet parallel. We're going to have hands to heart. Not going super low here. What we're going to do is we're leaning forward, so it's not goddess pose. We do have a little bit of a forward lean going. Mainly this is to keep the back straight. Shift weight into the left leg, so bending into the left knee, and then straightening the right leg, coming to the toes on the right side, maybe even lifting up that leg. We step through center, drop into a squat really. Squat over to the right side, straighten the left leg, lift the toes with that straight, strong leg. Bending both knees, dropping the hips in center. Shift the weight to the side, lift that leg. We're aiming for a lifting that activates the exterior muscles of the glutes. So we're not turning out the leg. We don't want to fire up the quad. We want to use the glutes to lift. So keep the feet parallel as you shift back and forth. Find a drishti to hold your gaze. Help your balance. If your shoulders have begun to rise up to the ears, draw them down. You can go as slowly as you want. Just don't go too fast. Try not to make a sound. Using that slow, concentrated movement to build strength. I can definitely notice the difference is my healthy side and then my injured side. It's much harder to lift on this side. Notice how your hips feel, if they feel pretty even or if one is weaker than the other. Noticing without judgment. Finally come to the middle. Feel that squat with heels, weight in your heels, so it's like a wide-legged chair almost. You can lift and fan your toes. And then inhale, straighten up. Star pose, reach the arms out. Let the heart shine up. And then the crown of the head lifts. Arms to a T. Step the feet together, the top of the mat, hands together too. Inhale, reach out and up, lift the left knee. Take it into a figure 4. Holding the heart up with a flat back or rounding over, touching the ground, letting your chin drop to your chest. Some folks love that deeper stretch. Inhale, come through center, set the left foot down, coming right on to the other side. The arms reach high, spine lengthens, right knee lifts, and then right ankle over left knee. It should feel good after that exercise we just did. Inhale, rise up, set the left foot down. Exhale. Inhale, step the left foot to the back of your mat. Open the legs up wide. Take your hands to your low back, a supported back bend first. And then folding forward. I figure we can't do a class on perspective without giving the option to turn the world upside down. So that's what we're doing on this side. If you know that you can move into or are hoping to move into a headstand from a wide-legged place, walk the feet out. Place your head on the earth. Find that perfect distance for your hands to make a triangle, tripod. Begin to lift weight off the heels. That's how you can tell if you've got a solid grip or not. And first you just try to lengthen the spine. You can certainly keep the legs wide or begin to lift them high. What you want to do is keep the shoulders down the back, drawing down the back. Feels like actively pushing into the ground with your hands. And the aim is to come out with the same control and steadiness as in which you entered. At this point, when the legs are wide, my hips come back a little bit more. This is just my sensation. And then the toes are slowly coming toward the ground. So much about this is the core. Eventually the feet seal to the earth. Begin to rise up, walk the feet closer together, and roll up. Reach the arms wide, take a star pose, and then step the feet and the hands together at the top of the mat. Inhale, reach out and up. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant the hands, make your way to down dog. Inhale to prepare and exhale, walk the feet up to the hands, come to sit down. With the feet flat, taking the hands to that back of the thighs, round your back, chin to chest, seated cat. Inhale, open the heart, gaze up, open the throat, seated cow. Do that back and forth a couple times. And then come to sit tall. We're going to move back and forth between reverse tabletop and a hovering seated staff. So you might need blocks or books underneath your hands if your torso is longer than your arms. We will plant the feet, and if your wrists are tired, mine are a little bit, I'm going to make fists and press my fingers, tops of my fingers into the ground. So lifting the hips first to reverse tabletop. Exhale, straighten the legs, hover your seated staff. Move back and forth. The next time you get to your seated staff, hold that hover for a moment. You know what? I can't, but you can for another breath. And then come all the way down. Seated with the legs long, maybe about hip width distance. Lift the heart, the crown of the head. Tuck your hands under your legs and lean forward, navel toward the legs. You can put a strap around your feet. If you can reach your toes, take your peace fingers, grab them. And activate your legs. Squeeze your quads. Inhale, begin to rise up. Take the fingertips to your shoulders. Take a few little gentle twists. And then draw the soles of the feet together. Butterfly pose. I always like to take my thumbs to my arches, give myself a little foot massage here. I don't push myself very far in this position anymore, but options for you would be to press the elbows into your knees, to open up the hips wider, to lean forward with that flat back, or round over chin to chest. 3 breath cycles here. Inhale, rise up. Draw your knees over to the right side. We're going to come to a version of side plank on the knees. Get your left hand, left hip, and left knee in line, if this is possible. We're going to be lifting up the hips. So trying to keep the left hand in line with the left knee and not sinking into the shoulder here, but keeping space, keeping that lifted, dropping the hips and lifting. So this is a way to work the obliques that isn't quite as strenuous on the neck, the shoulder, and the left arm as it would be if both legs were straight. The next time your hips are lifted, reach the right arm high. Take a few twists. Right arm reaching underneath the left armpit, reaching high again. Last one. When your hand comes near the mat, go ahead and plant it so you can rotate around to face the other way. Taking your right hand, making it in line with the right knee, keeping your left hand on your hips. Ease in the jaw and the neck. Try to let this be about the obliques. So lifting and lowering the hips, not pushing into the mat any more or less. The next time your hips are lifted, reach the left arm high. Take those twists, reaching underneath the right armpit and back up. Last one. And when that left hand is down, go ahead and set it on the mat. Take both hands to the mat, knees wide, toes to touch. Shift back to child's pose. And begin to make your way to hands and knees so you can walk that right knee toward your right wrist. Pull your foot in front of your hips. Walk the left leg back. Coming into half pigeon in a slightly different way. This time you have the option to interlace the fingers behind you, lift your heart, and drop your chest. Inhale to lift. Lifting and lowering. Feeling this in your legs, also in the back. And then finally, when you release down, taking your hands in front of you, you should be noticing the difference between striving and letting go. Really allow your body to melt, not working any longer, just breathing, sinking. Last 2 breath cycles here. And begin to make your way back to hands and knees. Take a cat and a cow. Any other movement you need. And then draw the left knee to your left wrist. Walking the right leg back. And if you're doing that lift and lower of the torso, see if you can interlace your fingers in the opposite way. And try that. Each time you drop down, lifting the hands up higher. And then finally, taking your hands to the ground, letting go, feeling supported, releasing the work, the striving, and finding the softness. Last 2 breath cycles here. Begin to rise up. Taking it into down dog. to breathe and notice. Feel open. Feel strong. Come through high plank to up dog. And then press back to child's pose. A child's pose Shavasana here today. Ending as you began. Noticing in this position that's identical to where you started. Is your perspective different, even though you're in the same place? Release any control of your breath. Find ease and stillness. Begin to walk your hands back to your knees. You can come to a seat on your knees, or if that is not comfortable, come to a cross-legged place. Take your hands together at your heart, that gesture of gratitude from yourself to yourself. Affirming that you do have the superpower of shifting perspective with practice, with dedication. You can change the way that you see things. Thank you for joining me in this practice today. Namaste.